A major legal blow was delivered to the Trump administration when U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb ruled against its attempt to dramatically broaden the use of the expedited removal process. The decision, handed down Friday evening, halts new deportation policies that could have forced millions of immigrants out of the United States without full hearings. Cobb emphasized that the changes posed a significant risk of unjustly removing immigrants who may have legal grounds to remain in the country. Understanding expedited removal and its traditional limits. For more than 20 years, expedited removal was a narrow immigration enforcement tool. It applied primarily to foreign nationals caught within 100 miles of a U.S. land border and within 2 weeks of crossing into the country. This limitation allowed immigration officials to quickly deport recent arrivals who had little or no connection to the U.S. However, the policy shifted dramatically in 2019 during Trump's first term, when the Department of Homeland Security expanded its scope nationwide. Under this broadened rule, any undocumented immigrant unable to prove they had been in the U.S. for more than 2 years could face immediate removal, no matter where they lived or worked. Trump's renewed push after returning to office. While the Biden administration had reversed the nationwide expansion, Trump reinstated it in January upon returning to the presidency. His administration argued that the system would strengthen enforcement and deter unlawful immigration. Judge Cobb's strong defense of due process. In her ruling, Judge Cobb stressed that immigrants living in the interior of the country possess a weighty liberty interest in remaining in the United States. She underscored that the Constitution's Fifth Amendment requires due process, even for non-citizens. Cobb criticized the administration for failing to adjust its procedures when expanding the scope of expedited removal. By prioritizing speed, she argued, the government increased the likelihood of wrongful deportations. Her written opinion rejected as startling and extraordinary the claim that immigrants with years of residence had virtually no constitutional protections. Controversial tactics and immediate impact. The urgency of the ruling was highlighted by the administration's new tactic, dismissing immigrants' ongoing court cases and transferring them directly into expedited removal. This maneuver, Cobb said, stripped individuals of their chance to argue their cases fully before an immigration judge. Her order took effect immediately, denying the Justice Department's request to delay implementation for 2 weeks while it considered an appeal. This means that the Trump administration cannot currently apply the expanded fast-track deportation rules. Previous legal setbacks on expedited removal. Judge Cobb's ruling follows a similar decision earlier this month, where she barred the use of expedited removal against hundreds of thousands of immigrants admitted under humanitarian parole programs. That earlier judgment had already signaled skepticism about the administration's aggressive use of the tool. Political and public reaction. The Department of Homeland Security quickly criticized Cobb, labeling her an activist judge. A spokesperson claimed that President Trump has a mandate to arrest and deport the worst of the worst and insisted that the administration has the law, facts, and common sense on its side. Immigrant advocates, on the other hand, welcomed the decision as a vital protection against unjust removals. A significant check on executive power. This ruling represents more than just an immigration policy setback for the Trump administration. It underscores the judiciary's role as a constitutional check on executive authority, ensuring that speed and efficiency do not eclipse fundamental rights. Judge Cobb's ruling not only halts the administration's aggressive deportation push, but also reaffirms the constitutional due process applies to all, marking an important victory for immigrant rights and judicial oversight.
A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration extension of the fast-track deportation, ruling it opposes a serious list of unlawfully removing immigrants who may have a legal grounds to remain. Judge Giacom emphasized that immigrants living in the US have due process rights under the Fifth Amendment, criticizing the government for prioritizing speed over fairness. The policy first broadened in 2019 was reinstated by Trump in January after Biden rolled it back. Cobb also condemned tactics dismissing court cases to post expedited removal. The decision effective immediately drew backlash from theaters but was hailed as a key win for immigrant advocates.